Uh. Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of Improvement Time. So today is my push A workout, and this is my first movement working with flat dumbbell press for 4 sets of 6 or 10 reps. As you can see, this is my first working set, 75. Typically when I do any benching movements, I need to really, it takes a lot more time for me to find my groove because I have a little shoulder problems in the past where I have to work even harder to keep the mind muscle connection. As you can see, this set was definitely better than the first set. The weights have been improving nice and smoothly with this. I'm not getting anything crazy strong, nothing to brag about, but again, for my own personal records, this is definitely an improvement just with the control and just seeing the chest working. One thing I would really like to improve with the flat bench is just really arching and my sternum a little bit higher, just to really let the pecs do more of the work instead of the arms. Again, this is one of the hardest movement, one of the most stubborn body part for me to grow. I would say it's my chest and my calves, but again, with consistency and volume work, I just gotta let time do its thing with this surplus that I am currently in right now. Next movement, we're gonna be moving onto OHP, overhead press barbell. So again, the last 2 times I've been doing this movement, my shoulders have been having a lot of pain. So this was actually one of my first sessions where I was doing these movements without being pain-free. So this is my first set. I was really just working with 30 pounds on each side. Again, it's nothing heavy, but again, because of my long time off and my own personal struggles and problems, this has been a win for me, just slowly increasing the bar and just slowly being more controlled. Something else I would like to improve is my rear and front delts as well within this improvement season before I step back on the stage. As you can see, second set, I kept everything the same because it felt good, but I wanted to make sure that I was able to do it again. So no rush to add on additional weights. Yeah, so I was very pleased with how things were moving. Just thinking in the past where I used to do, 135, which was a plate for I think 3 sets of 6 to 7. A lot of people would probably be discouraged that they had to start from the bottom again, but I am a true believer of, believing into the process. So here, because the first 2 sets felt great and I was able to hit all my numbers, I increased this, so this is 35 on each side now. As you can see, everything is still pretty smooth, very fluid, and concentration was just there, and most importantly, it was pain-free. So I was really pleased with how things are going now. So one of my ultimate goals for this off season is to not just focus on moving up the weights, overloading the weights, but I would also like to overload volume as well, meaning that I want to make sure I hit the higher end of the rep scheme. So typically, I know some people, they will feel great and they will throw a little bit more weights, but for me, I like to just take it one day at a time, one session at a time, just letting the volume do its work and giving myself time to grow and recover. So after this movement, the next movement is the incline dumbbell bench press. And what I typically like to do is I actually prefer the dumbbells over barbell with these because I noticed, for me at least, my chest responds slightly better to dumbbells than instead of barbells. So today I'm working with a more slight incline. So I'm still trying to find a perfect groove where I could find a perfect angle where it's not too high but not too low as well, and to really just hit my upper pecs because that's one of the areas where I really needed to grow. Again, today I'm playing with this angle right here, and things felt pretty good actually. It was a little bit harder compared to when the incline's a little bit higher, but it's just one of those things that can be frustrating for me because every time, different angles, my starting point will be different, and I'm trying to stay consistent as possible. So right here, as you can see, it's working out the chest. One thing I would like to do is just kind of put my shoulder blades a little bit arch my back a little bit more, just to let the upper pecs do more of the work. Again, this is why I like to film, and I like to assess where I'm at. So the next time I hit these again, I'm gonna really try to arch a little bit more and just work on maybe a slightly higher incline, just to see how I feel. Because within the next few years, I really want to work on bringing up my chest. All right, so this is my last working set, and I actually increased the weight this week compared to last week. I hit push A, and again, felt pretty nice, and I was just really pleased with the chest workout overall. And over here you see Maggie reaching into the bag. But slow and steady, you know, that's one thing I really learned over the years of training, consistent with your training, and being honest. Don't just really keep critiquing yourself, keep reflecting on what you can do to improve, you know, the variables, and just get better slowly, because you don't want to rush everything too fast. So typically what I like to do after my last set, my third set, I like to do a drop set right away, and I try to go for about 10 to 12 reps. Lighter weight load, just really forcing the blood, forcing the pump into the upper pecs, because at this point I'm pretty toast from the heavy overloading. So again, I hit 12 reps with these 40 pounds, which was an increase from the last time, because the last time I used 35 pounds. Next movement, we're going to be moving into the decline hammer press. So I'm really glad that this gym has tons of great chest equipment, isolation movements, so I can really focus on improving my chest. As you can see, you can see the chest really just being worked right now, and again, I'm just really grateful that this gym has all these wonderful equipment for me to really focus on isolating the specific part of the chest that I want to grow. One of the weaker points for me is my lower pecs and the upper pecs. So one experiment that Chris Barakat, my coach, wants me to try after I run my own program for like 8 weeks, he wants me to kind of take out the flat benching and just focus more on upper and lower. So I'm going to definitely try that just to see if it improves. But before I want to do that, I want to see how much of improvement I can make within the program I'm on now. So modifications are always going to be part of the program. As you can see, I definitely feel like I could push more with this chest, but again, I don't want to go to a point where I can only push for 3 reps. I think going heavy is important, but I also think the higher rep spectrum is important as well. Currently, one of the sweet spot rep schemes that I'm using now is 8 to 12 reps. If I feel like the weight's a little bit too light, then I go into 15 reps. After this, I move into pec deck flies, and again, one of these things is that I don't go too heavy with this. So that's one thing for my body, I have to compensate. So one thing I noticed that when I go too heavy, I lose my muscle connection. So I really have to be mindful of choosing a moderate weight where I can still work the muscle. It's still heavy enough for me to overload, but yet I have to add more volume into it just to feel the blood flowing. As you can see, the shirt looks a little bit fuller by the chest area. So it's working, slow and steady. Let's just see how I look by March. That should be when the time where I'm going to be tweaking my program. Okay, so that's it for the chest movements, for the portion of the push workout. Now we're moving into the tricep portion, where I've been incorporating tricep extensions with the ropes. Again, one thing I noticed is that if I choose a moderate weight where I can really control and squeeze the head of the triceps, I've been feeling really great pumps with this movement, and I'm also seeing a lot of visually great growth within the exercises that I've been using for triceps. So currently I'm sticking with the same 3 exercises that's really been pretty much bread and butter for me for the last 2 years too, and I really saw a lot of growth, and I'm just going to continue to leave these on in my program, because if it's not broken, I'm not going to fix it. So one thing, the next movement I like to do is dumbbell overhead press. For this movement, I typically like to go a little bit heavier. The rep ranges is a little bit lower, so it's from 6 to 8 reps. So it's a nice area where I can really overload accordingly and just feel it. The thing with this movement is right after this movement, I like to do a little bit additional front lateral head work. So I'm choosing a barbell that's, I think this was 40 pounds. So this was an increase. I started with 20 pounds and then I did it with 30 pounds. And then finally, this week I'm doing it with 40 pounds. So I typically like to superset these right after just to get the blood flowing for the front delts as well. Again, with these, you want to go higher volume. You don't want to go crazy swinging. You just want to keep the blood and tension where you want to target. The last movement for the day will be the tricep extension with the easy curl bars. 4 sets, 10 to 20 reps, and I just try to overload as much as I can to force the blood in there. This is my only one go-to that I really recommend for everybody. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys like the video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.